Stephon Diggs. It's one and done for the star wide receiver here in New England. We have Team 7 coverage.
Also breaking, a former school bus driver indicted in connection with the death of a 5-year-old boy in Hyde Park.
Then a bucket truck tips, blocking this busy road in Cambridge for hours. Tonight, traffic's moving again as we talk to the driver of the SUV that bucket hit.
And temps soar into the 50s today. A messy mix for tomorrow night.
7 News at 6 starts now.
First up at 6, there's breaking news involving the Patriots. The team reportedly set to release Stephon Diggs. He spent just 1 year here in New England. Diggs led the Pats in receiving yards en route to the Super Bowl.
And now there will be a big void to fill, of course, on the offense. 7's Maury Hirschgordon live for us in the newsroom with breaking details.
Yeah, Johnny, on Stephon Diggs is one and done with the Patriots. The team's leading receiver last season will not be part of the picture in 2026, set to be released at the start of the new league year. The Pats cutting ties with the veteran pass catcher who was due a $6 million bonus if he was still on the roster come March 13th. Instead, he'll be heading elsewhere following a productive stint as Drake May's number 1 target, making 85 grabs for 1,013 yards and 4 touchdowns coming off of a torn ACL. Diggs' production did tail off in the playoffs, though, making just 14 catches for 110 yards and a score. Diggs expressing gratitude for his lone season in New England, posting on Instagram, quote, "Thank you for a hell of a year. We family forever, Patriots." So with Diggs moving on, the Pats will now look elsewhere for help at receiver, with top free agent Alec Pierce a potential option, or perhaps trade for Eagles star A.J. Brown. Live in the newsroom, Maury Hirschgordon, 7 News.
In just 1 year, Diggs certainly made his presence known on the field for the Pats, becoming a trusted target for Drake May. 7's Victoria Price live at Gillette with how fans are feeling about this decision. Victoria?
So we spoke to a few fans out here in Foxborough. We even broke the news to some who hadn't heard about Steph Diggs being released. And I would say the reaction was initial shock upon learning the news, but not really surprised, especially when you take into account the issues that his salary presented with the cap space issue. They brought up the fact that he really was a presence and a leader. He brought a lot of personality to this team. It was a personality that both the fans as well as the other players rallied around. Here's more of what fans had to say.
I'm a little sad, but he brought a lot to the team and a lot of excitement. And it's just, but bottom line, it's just such a business these days. And I guess, it couldn't work out financially, so.
I'm not surprised. He's got a lot of salary cap issues, so kind of help us out, get some new guys going, get us back to the Super Bowl, hopefully.
I also asked these fans if they thought Diggs' pending legal issues could have potentially factored into this decision. All of them told me that they really didn't think that would be the case. They're going with the assumption this was purely a financial decision from the Patriots. We're live in Foxborough tonight. Victoria Price, 7 News.
We have breaking news right now. Surveillance video obtained by 7 News showing the moment a truck crashed on the Zachem Bridge last month. You can see that pickup truck swerved to avoid a broken down car in the center lane. The pickup then crashed into the barrier on the right side of the highway, nearly going over the edge. The crash happened on 93 North, just above the orange line near Bunker Hill Community College. That was on February 5th. And you can see the tire of the Nissan Frontier hanging over the edge of the bridge there at the end. Sky 7 was over that scene that morning. Debris was scattered across the highway as a result of the crash. The driver was not injured.
Also breaking here at 6 o'clock, a former school bus driver is now facing charges in the death of a 5-year-old boy in Hyde Park. 7's Kiki Fetzel at the breaking news desk with those details. Kiki?
Adam, a Suffolk County grand jury indicted the 39-year-old from Brockton on 3 charges over the boy's death. Prosecutors say the bus driver did not follow safety protocols when he dropped off the young boy and ran over the child, leading to his death. This happened in Hyde Park in April of last year. Investigators say Lenz Arthur Joseph was killed crossing the street. He was a student at Up Academy in Dorchester. The former bus driver was indicted on charges of involuntary manslaughter, reckless motor vehicle homicide, and negligent motor vehicle homicide. He's set to be arraigned later this month. Live in the newsroom, Kiki Fetzel, 7 News.
On 7 News now, a truck tipping over in Cambridge, the bucket truck crashing down, blocking Memorial Drive for hours. Traffic's moving again, and now we're hearing from a man who says the bucket bounced off the hood of his car. 7's Steve Cooper reporting from Cambridge.
This was a sight to see here along Memorial Drive when, without warning, this bucket truck came plummeting down to the ground below. But before it hit the ground, it hit the hood of a car, and now that driver is speaking out.
So fast, squeaking in the
It happened that fast.
Oh, yeah. Oof.
The bucket of a toppled-over tree trimming truck lays across all lanes of Memorial Drive by the Charles Hotel, with the truck flipped on its side as first responders arrive.
The diesel tank of the boom truck. The boom truck is fully extended across Memorial Drive.
So you were driving along, and then all of a sudden you heard boom?
Yeah, I saw it about 10 feet high and fall down in the top of my car. So,
The bucket.
yeah, the bucket.
Paulo DeMorais was driving to work along Memorial Drive when he looked up around 9 a.m. Wednesday, only to see the bucket with a man inside plunging to the pavement below, but first hitting the hood of his SUV. He says he tried to hit the brakes, but it was too late.
Push the brake, but
Nothing you
no time you can do it yet.
Officials say the injured worker was transported to the hospital. Memorial Drive between JFK and Ash Streets shut down for hours, snarling traffic around Harvard Square. Mid-afternoon, heavy equipment was brought in to remove the wreckage. Federal investigators from OSHA and state troopers assigned to the truck team were focusing on the truck's stabilizers, trying to pinpoint the cause. As for Paulo, he's just counting his blessings, but his thoughts at the moment are with the man in the bucket that cascaded to the ground.
Thankfully, you're okay.
I'm okay. I hope the guy's okay too. I think
Scary stuff, though.
Oh, yeah, that's scary.
It took a while to remove the wreckage from the middle of Memorial Drive, and everything that happened here is part of an ongoing investigation at the moment. In Cambridge, Steve Cooper, 7 News.
7 weather now, a live look over beautiful Boston. That's the Zachem Bridge, and there's a little bit of a traffic, especially heading out of town. But it did warm up today, meaning some of the snow out there began to melt away, but there's more messy weather heading our way. Meteorologist Jeremy Reiner is here with the first check of the forecast. Jeremy.
Temps today into the low and mid-50s, now cooling back into the 30s and 40s, and the chilly air looks to return by tomorrow evening. This front, which will be the dividing line between cold air in northern New England and today's mild air, getting pressed to the south. That front will generate a lot of clouds, so tomorrow's a cloudy day, but dry in the morning hours up until the midday hours. Watch out for slick spots from the areas of refreeze. Temps tomorrow morning upper 20s. Now by 5 o'clock tomorrow night, there will be a few sprinkles and sleet pellets, those little tiny ball bearings of ice. Futurecast shows that at 5 p.m. You see the green and the pink there. And the green will expand across, as well as the pink will expand across the region tomorrow evening. And so we'll have sleet, rain, and freezing rain, which will then flip over to snow along and north of the Route 2 corridor and even down into Metro Boston for a few hours early Friday morning. The Friday morning commute looks to be problematic, especially coming in to the city from the west and the north. Not a lot of snow, but just enough, and the timing stinks. Looks like a coating to possibly two, a little bit north of the Route 2 corridor. And the other concern is that I think there will be several hours of freezing rain, especially Metro West into the Worcester Hills and out toward the Berkshires. Enough where it will put a glaze on the streets, the trees, and perhaps even the power lines. It is possible there could be enough buildup on trees and power lines where it's possible to lose some power across portions of Worcester County. We'll talk more about that potential and when the warm air will make a return coming up.
Also on 7, a Marshfield police officer pleading not guilty to drunk driving charges following a car crash back in January. 48-year-old Richard Perry appeared in court wearing a neck brace. He's accused of hitting another car while driving drunk. The driver of the other vehicle suffered serious injuries, including a brain bleed. Her mother speaking outside of court about how her daughter's doing.
Grace has a long road ahead of her. She's making slow but steady progress, but this has greatly impacted, obviously, her life, and it's going to be a long road before she can get back to living her 24-year-old best life.
At the time of the incident, Perry was placed on administrative leave from the department.
Now on just one station, we are hearing one of the 911 calls made by a neighbor when a home exploded in Taunton last week.
Across the street, the house just blew up. Carbon monoxide or something. The whole house just ruptured. The whole house up in flames. I just saw somebody, a lady or something, knock the room from it. The back, there's a fire in the back. We're dispatching the 10 now. We're receiving a bunch of calls, so I'm assuming it's about the same thing.
This police body cam video, which you saw first on 7, shows an officer and neighbors running to help the people escape the flames. Investigators say a natural gas leak led to that explosion. Lucita Blanc and her daughter Janelle were severely burned. Blanc's boyfriend says that she was cooking when the home exploded. Because of the severe damage to the home and the nearby houses, the location of the gas gas leak and cause of ignition remain under investigation.
And there's more news today. A party foul at a Boston restaurant. Police say they were called to Estella over a late-night party that's alleged to have featured members of the Patriots, exotic dancers, and drugs. 7's Jonathan Hall in Boston with details.
On the heels of one big postseason win in late January, it seems some of the Patriots were in the mood to party. And now one local establishment is in some hot water with the city of Boston. A restaurant owner told the Boston Licensing Board that a day after winning the AFC Championship in Denver on January 25, some unnamed Patriots players ended up at his restaurant and lounge near downtown Crossing. Officers were called here to Estella to investigate a noise complaint shortly after 2 a.m. on Tuesday, January 27th. A police report indicates they heard loud music coming from the basement, and officers were momentarily blocked from going down to investigate by a couple of private security guards standing at the stairway.
The officers also stated that they observed no less than 3 women who were either nude or partially nude run into the back kitchen of the basement upon their arrival. The officers later found these females hiding on the back stairwell with a security member.
Sergeant Rebecca Leo says officers were told the private party involved all Patriots players. She said there was a strong smell of tobacco and marijuana. Police say they found multiple large hookahs and about 30 people in the basement, and cash apparently given to exotic dancers littering the floor.
Did you see the dollar bills on the floor?
Afterwards, yes.
Police discussed the after-hours party with members of the Boston Licensing Board. Estella could have its liquor license revoked or suspended. A decision may come Thursday.
We are taking full responsibility. It's embarrassing.
Owner Helder Brandow of Milton says he had invited the Patriots to his home for a pool party. But as the evening progressed, some players asked to remain at the restaurant to party, which included pricey tequila, a DJ, and exotic dancers, all of which they brought with them. The owner says players left without paying their tab.
So there's a sense of entitlement that these players think they can do whatever they want.
Some fans understand the players wanting to blow off some steam after a big win. Others say this went too far.
Boys can be boys, but they need to know how to be better boys and responsible boys. How's that? And these really are boys. They're men. Come on now.
We're probably just trying to have a good time. Celebrating. I mean, it was a good win. It was a good game.
It doesn't particularly bother you?
Not really, no.
The owner says his bartender didn't serve any liquor to the Patriots players after 2 a.m., but he says they had brought their own expensive tequila. We reached out to that owner and also a spokesman for the Patriots, but did not hear back. In Boston, Jonathan Hall, 7 News.
New video of a wild wreck in Revere. One tractor-trailer slamming into the back of another. It happened on North Shore Road. One of the trucks slowed down to turn into a parking lot, and the other rear-ended it. Some lanes were closed for more of the morning commute, most of the morning commute, and the road has since reopened.
And a fiery scene in Attleboro, flames bursting through a hole in the ground. The fire department was called to a coffee shop on South Main Street for smoke in the parking lot. And when they arrived, those flames were shooting out of the ground. The department says an underground electrical box caught fire.
Coming up on 7 News at 6, RFK Jr. blasting Duncan, the Health and Human Services Secretary questioning the health standards of the Massachusetts staple.
And then at 6:30.
An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters.
New video of a deadly strike on an Iranian warship.
And we are staying on top of breaking news today. The Patriots are reportedly set to release Stephon Diggs after just one season in New England. Stay with the news station for the latest breaking details.
Read Across America Week by reading to some students this morning. He read Clever Tom and the Leprechaun to a kindergarten class at St. Catherine's in Norwood, of course, Rob's hometown. And look at this. Looks like they remembered how much Rob loves his iced coffee. Look at this. They gave him a brand new Dunkin' cup with their own handwritten snow measurement lines on the side.
Now, 7 weather with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Ryan.
Yeah, we do have a little snow in the forecast. Maybe Rob can break out that measuring equipment tomorrow night, early Friday morning. Clouds will gather through the day tomorrow. This will not be a repeat of the blizzard, but I do think a couple of inches of snow possible, especially the farther north you travel. And unfortunately, a buildup of ice on roadways and perhaps even trees and power lines for the Worcester Hills. Warmth will return on Sunday. Early call on the weekend. Limited sunshine on Saturday. A few showers late Saturday evening with temps on Saturday into the mid-40s. That's not too bad. That's pretty close to where we should be for this time of year. Sunday, the pick of the weekend, all kinds of sunshine. Temps will start mild around 40 and get close to 60 degrees on Sunday afternoon. We did make it into the 50s today. Boston at 50 before the sea breeze showed up. Nashua 54. Norwood, there you go, at 55. Currently settling back into the 30s and 40s, 40 in town. Nantucket at 33. Farther south, a lot of warm air on the table, 50s, 60s, and 70s, but you go the other direction, and a lot of Arctic air also on the table. That's why it's so challenging for New England, because you have leftover Arctic air that tries to come south, and then you have early springtime warmth blossoming and also charging north, and that puts New England into the battleground. Weather map for tomorrow, that front will be the dividing line between cold air, northern New England, the Arctic air. That does not come down here, but it gets increasingly chilly by tomorrow evening and overnight tomorrow night, suppressing the warmth that we had today. Temps tomorrow morning will start in the upper 20s. Watch out for slick spots with areas of refreeze from the meltwater this afternoon, and then by noon tomorrow, cool, cloudy skies, low 40s. 5 o'clock, there will be a few sprinkles and a few sleet pellets, a few ice pellets, those little tiny ball bearings of ice, and they will expand in coverage across the region tomorrow evening, especially north of the Pike and west. And then we'll also have some freezing rain. At the same time, the air turns cold enough across southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire, and even into the Merrimack Valley for a few hours early Friday morning, and maybe even into the city of Boston, where we will have a little bit of wet snow for a couple of hours for that Friday morning commute. So the Friday morning commute does look problematic, not with the amount of snow or sleet, but just the timing itself. We saw that last evening, where it didn't take much to follow up the roads. I think that'll be the case for a few hours on Friday morning. A coating to 2 inches of snow. Route 2 up into the Merrimack Valley, up toward the seacoast, 2 to maybe 4 inches of snow in New Hampshire. And then in terms of the ice buildup, that does look to be something we'll have to monitor, especially in the hillier terrain of the Worcester Hills and even out toward the Berkshires, where you may have a couple of pockets of some scattered tree damage, and then that could lead to some power disruption. This won't be a repeat of December 2008, but something that we'll have to monitor with this front. Meandering back and forth tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow night, and then that front begins to lift north as a warm front Saturday afternoon, but it will take until Sunday to really tap in to the fun air. 7 on 7 forecast. Sunday close to 60. Monday and Tuesday, temps in the mid and upper 60s. See you at 6:30.
Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. with some coffee criticism for 2 of the most popular chains, including Dunkin'.
He says he's going to start asking questions about just how healthy what they serve is, and that has some Dunkin' regulars, including the governor, weighing in.
On Adam, we are live outside one of the Dunkins, one of the many here in Boston. Of course, the Kennedys and Dunkin' are synonymous with Massachusetts. Now, the two may be at odds. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is not so sure about America running on Dunkin'. The Secretary of Health and Human Services says he's going to start asking questions about the sugary drinks at some popular coffee chains.
We were going to ask Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks, show us the safety data that shows that it's okay for a teenage girl to drink an iced coffee with 115 grams of sugar in it. I don't think they're going to be able to do it.
It's part of the Secretary's Make America Healthy Again movement. Governor Maura Healey quick to weigh in, posting on X in defense of Dunks with a picture of a Dunkin' cup with the words, "Come and take it." RFK Jr.'s comments are certainly stirring the pot on Boston streets. Some like what he's saying. For others, it leaves a bitter taste.
It's none of his business, and like healthcare is like your personal decision. So it's just really weird, all the things that he's trying to do.
I think it's good information to know in relation to sugar. I study heart disease at MGH, and it's one of the leading factors to deaths in the United States, and so a lot of it is related to sugar intake.
We have reached out to Dunkin' and Starbucks for comment, but have so far not heard back. Live in Boston tonight, Rob Way, 7 News.
All right, let's talk about some sports with Maury coming up.
All right, thanks, Shadian. Coming up next in 7 Sports, more on the cost-cutting measures the Patriots are taking in cutting Stephon Diggs while Garrett Crochet was on the mound today against the Yankees. How the Ace fared when we return.
On a cold winter day.
time to ancient Egypt, opening today in Boston. It tells the story of the discovery of King Tut's tomb through the eyes of the man who found it in 1922. The exhibit features museum-quality replicas and uses animated storytelling and virtual reality to take people back to the exact moment the tomb was discovered. It's located at the Saunders Castle at Park Plaza for a limited time.
Norwell High School making national headlines with their most recent basketball game, down by 2 with seconds to go. Everything came down to a half-court heave.
They have 5 seconds to inbound. Fine's fine. Double team. 2 seconds. Tough shot. Oh my God.
Nick Fine with the winning bucket at the buzzer. With that shot, Norwell beats Swampscott and advances to the Elite 8. That shot featured as the number 2 play on SportsCenter's Top 10 this morning.
And now, time for 7 Sports with Maury Hirschfeld.
He was here for a good time, not for a long time. Stephon Diggs set to get his walking papers from the Patriots to save roughly $17 million against the salary cap. The release will come after the new league year begins and closes a mostly successful chapter on the field. Diggs was Drake May's number 1 receiver this season, 85 catches, more than 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a veteran presence and leader in the locker room. But at his age, 33 in November, and his price tag, the Pats will look to get younger and more explosive at the position. The Celtics opening up a quick 2-game homestand tonight, looking to make it 4 straight wins, and standing in their way is a red-hot Hornets team coming to Boston riding a 5-game winning streak. Charlotte tipped off the front end of a back-to-back last night with a 27-point rout of the Mavericks. Former Celtics assistant coach Charles Lee has the Hornets firing on all cylinders. They own the NBA's longest current winning streak, and they're 15-3 over their last 18 games, climbing to 500 on the season and into 9th place in the Eastern Conference. The Bruins continued their dominance on home ice last night, running their winning streak at the Garden to 11 games with a 2-1 win over the Penguins. That's the longest winning streak at home since 2022. Marat Husnudinov and Casey Middlestat provided the offense with a pair of goals in the first period, while Jeremy Swayman stopped 34 of 35 shots to help the Bees secure 2 crucial points.
You know, we got great fans. I think that helps a lot, especially in a city like Boston. But I think, you know, we're comfortable here. We're able to get off to good starts.
Guys feel it now. They just feel the energy, how it's supposed to be done for the fans. You know, it's just a group effort, and that's including the fans and everyone. We feel very comfortable, very confident at home.
Garrett Crochet said he had trouble sleeping when he failed to record a strikeout in his spring training debut. Today, the Red Sox ace had a chance to make sure the Z's came a little easier, towing the hill against the Yankees. The big lefty facing a Bombers lineup made up mostly of youngsters, and one of them, George Lombard Jr., jumped him early, taking the 4th pitch of the game for a ride over the Fenway South Monster, 104.2 miles off the bat, 1-zip Yanks. Crochet did get a strikeout, 3 of them, in fact, but he allows 3 earned on 3 hits in 2 2/3 innings of work. Peyton Tolley, on the other hand, mowing down the guys he faced, fanning 7 across 3 shutout frames, but the Sox managed just 6 hits in a 4-0 loss. We still have 3 more Sox Grapefruit League games here on 7. The next one comes your way Saturday, March 7th at 1 p.m. against the Rays.
Play of the day, brought to you in part by the Mass General Brigham Heart and Vascular Institute.
UConn hosting Holy Cross in the Women's Hockey East semifinals. The Huskies' Tia Chan makes the right pad save, then dives to her right and flashes the leather to rob Manny Gendron of a goal. Chan backstopping UConn to the title game with a 27-save gem, and her sprawling glove save is good for our play of the day. And lastly, the Chiefs are reportedly trading all-pro cornerback Trent McDuffie to the Rams in exchange for 4 draft picks, including the 29th overall selection in the 2026 draft. That's sports.
Thank you, Maury. That is our time for 7 News at 6. I'm Johnny Ann Thompson.
Always great to be with you. I'm Adam Williams. We'll see you back here at 10 o'clock, but stand by for the news at 6:30 next.